Hey everybody, my name is Mandy Ray of Ecstatic Astrology, and I'm here to talk about the full moon in Libra, which is today, is Saturday, April 16th. It was exact at 2:55 p.m. Central US time, so check your local time. I'm recording this about an hour after I've had my own full moon in Libra things to deal with, namely allergies and a sinus infection or something, of course. But I've got, that stuff that's going on in my own chart. So this is why astrology is useful. I'm able to see, okay, this is just a season. I'm supposed to rest and I'm supposed to heal and I'm supposed to take care of myself and yada, yada, yada. So that's what astrology does for us. And that's what I hope to bring to you all. I hope to empower you to look at it, to understand it, in a basic way. That way you can understand that certain themes come up for you and it's the time to deal with them. And then those things also change. Hardships change, even good times, they come and go, and life is fluid. There's ups and downs. And that's why astrology is helpful for me. It's a tool, just like there are so many other tools in this reality. There's you can play music and paint. That's a tool. You can do tarot. You can pray. You can visit the temple. You can go hiking. So many tools we have at our disposal. And you got to find the ones that work for you. So if astrology is that for you, well, let's talk about it. So the full moon in Libra is a completion of, or a culmination, let's say, the culmination of the cycle that started April 1st in Aries. It was a new moon in Aries. We planted seeds on healing our right to be ourselves. It was with Chiron and our right to be independent, maybe authentic, be in our identity and accept ourselves, love ourselves. That was the new moon in Aries. The full moon is how we express that new moon energy. How does it culminate? And Libra is the sign of others. If Aries is me, Libra is other people, other things. It has broader connotations of justice and balance. And I think all of that requires other relationships with the other. So how are you expressing your right to be yourself, or the fact that you love yourself through your relationships? Now, this full moon in Libra is a little complicated because it has Pluto. I've got medicine brain, allergy medicine brain. Pluto's in Capricorn, and that squares this full moon almost exactly. It's pretty close. The full moon was at 26 degrees of Libra and Aries, and Pluto is at 28 degrees of Capricorn, making a T-square. So this is inherently tense. It means we need to take action. Pluto is power. It's empowerment. And sometimes it takes disempowering situations in order to show ourselves where we need to be empowered. So in Capricorn, that is rules, structure, authority, success. It's the top of the mountain. It's banking systems. So Pluto's like, empower yourself here, be your own authority, or what do you allow to have authority over you? And or what is holding you back from success? That could be it as well, And squared to the full moon in Libra, we may see how things are out of balance in our relationships. Maybe if we're not allowed to be ourselves in a relationship, Pluto's saying it may be time for you to cut it. Okay. Or, change the situation, draw some boundaries, Pluto and Capricorn. So this full moon can be a little tense with it being square Pluto. Now, the other part of it is Neptune in the North Node and Pisces and Taurus are sextile to one another, and they're making a yod that is pointing to the full moon. A yod is also known as the finger of God. And this is a direct, relationships are the key to bringing your dreams into reality. And so that you have this mixed situation here where relationships are the key, but Pluto wants you to empower yourself as well, to be yourself, to be in your own authority. And it's a dance, I believe, this full moon in Libra, but it's going to show you what needs to happen in the way you relate to others and sometimes things outside of yourself. I think we have relationships with things, especially if you're an animist, right? So if you have a relationship with your pet or your cat or drugs or Netflix or whatever, think about it in those terms. Okay. So it's how we express healing ourselves through others, through relationships. How do we change those relationships in order to empower ourselves? And then how are they also the key to bringing our dreams into reality? So this is about the other. So let me go through this. One more thing. It almost trines Saturn. It's about 3 degrees away from a trine to Saturn in Aquarius. And a trine is supportive. And that also brings in this extra bit of bird's eye view. We are innovating our structures, and how do we use relationships as a key to the future, to, I want to say, like, even the way humanity works together. That's Aquarius, society, right? And that also inherently has a lot to do with relationships. So this moon trine Saturn, although, it's 3 degrees away, is also like, this is exactly what you need to do. This is how you need to build it. Gosh, it has so many moving parts, this full moon. Let me show you the moon through the rising signs here. And I'm going to try to make this not super long because I also want to get to the rest of the week, which I will go up through probably the 28th, maybe. The next phase is a solar eclipse that's coming in Taurus, and I'm going to have a lot to say about that. So let's start with Aries rising here. Oh, no, I'm going day by day. We need to go hour by hour. I hope you guys are liking me showing the chart when I do the rising sign. Someone said that was really helpful for them. And if you look, I'll just go ahead and give my little spiel. This is the horizon. This is everything we can see, everything we can't see. And so when you're looking at a chart, I want you to think of the earth here and think of you here. You can see this sky and everything under here you can't see. Aries rising. So what's coming up over the horizon when you're born defines your identity. How you appear to the world, really. How you are independent, how you are authentic. That's the first house. And that's what Aries rising is experiencing. It had its new moon there in the first house. So for sure, the right to be here, the right to accept myself, self-love, maybe independence, maybe autonomy. The full moon is in the 7th house, though, relationships. And you can notice it has a lot of the same themes as the sign of Libra. But yes, 7th house is relationships. So how are you expressing that through others? Pluto, how are you empowering yourself, especially in terms of public reputation, success, and career? So are relationships supporting you in your success, Aries rising? Do you feel like you have to change yourself in order to have a peaceful relationship? That's what this full moon is asking you. So it is asking you to empower yourself. And maybe you have been empowered through recent career successes, or maybe you've been disempowered by that and your relationship is helping you. Like, these things are fluid. They can like shift the puzzle around, You may decide relationships are helping you a whole lot. And then you may decide you need to do something different in your career. That's what this full moon is about for you. Now, I will say that the North Node and Neptune, that sextile and yod to the full moon, you see I'm drawing it here. Now you guys get to see a yod, is how you are raising your stock. And people may be the key to that. So it may not be, you may have one relationship that needs to go and one relationship that's really helping you in your finances, in your assets, and in your self-worth. But relationships are the key for you. Okay, let's go to Taurus rising. Boop. There you go. This moon is in your 6th house of health, daily routine, ritual. The 6th house also has career connotations, but it's less career. It's more like what you do for work every day. So the new moon was in your 12th house, which is pretty abstract. It's spirituality. It is subconscious. And you may have had some spiritual revelations during this new moon phase. And then the full moon is, how do you take that into everyday life? What is your relationship with your routine? Also, how do people that you have to see every day affect you on a subconscious level? Pluto is in your 9th house of belief and truth, and it's also higher education. And so this may be a time when you need to trust yourself. And it could be that you've got new philosophical leanings, or maybe you've learned some new things during this Pluto transit. And if what you're doing every day, if your routine, your rituals, your habits, or people that you are involved with every day are out of alignment with this philosophy, this belief, it's going to be time to adjust that. So it's definitely routine, ritual health for you. And you should be seeing the benefits of whatever spiritual connotations this new moon phase had for you. And it may be dreams as well. It could be lack of clarity, and all of a sudden the full moon in the 6th house clears things up for you. So Uranus and the North Node, and then Neptune and Jupiter are in your 1st house and 11th house. So this, if you've got some goals that you're trying to achieve, and maybe you are trying to show up in the world more and be seen, relationships every day, your rituals, your routines, your habits every day are a key to that. Okay. Gemini rising. This full moon is in your 5th house of good fortune. I like that. I like that connotation. But creativity, children, it's your heart chakra. That's the 5th house. It's joy. And the new moon was in your 11th house, which is plans for the future, goals. How am I setting goals and being myself in those goals? It's really taking your true self into the outer world. That's where the new moon in Aries was for you. Maybe networking, maybe working with large groups of people. That's another 11th house connotation, but future goals. And so the full moon in Libra is like, yeah, guess what? Your heart, your creativity is the key to that. And what is your relationship with that? And also, this could have themes of romantic partnership. That's another 5th house topic. So do your plans and goals, do people in your life, especially romantic partnerships, children, what does your inner child have to say about it? Is it in alignment with having fun and being in your joy? That's what you have to ask yourself. If you're having fun, you're doing it right. Gemini risings, that's what's important. Pluto's in your 8th house of how I share myself with people, of shared resources, empowerment. And so this could also have something to do with making or breaking contracts. Like maybe you're either needing to invite new people in and you're seeing that people in your life actually bring you joy, or you want to be creative with others, or you want children, or you want to have relationships with children in your sphere. So many different possibilities with this full moon in your 5th. But Pluto in your 8th is there anyone holding you back? Do you have to answer to anyone else? Or are you putting up a wall and not letting anyone in? Those two things could be possible. And that is what Pluto is asking you to shift right now. So maybe it's that you need to bring more people in and show your heart to people if you want these plans to succeed. And maybe it is you need to protect your creativity and look very closely at the contracts you have with people, or the people that you count on, for money, for housing. That is an 8th house topic. So definitely watch that. I would say the North Node is in your 12th house of spirituality. And Jupiter and Neptune, where you're dreaming, where you have these dreams, is in your 10th house of career. And this full moon in Libra is like, yeah, you really need to pay attention to the people in your life and if they bring you joy, or else these two areas are not going to work as well. Let me put it that way. So you could be like having some existential feelings about someone in your life. That would be 12th house topics. You need to look at it, pay attention to what Pluto's doing, and say maybe no more, and drawing your boundaries, okay? And also you could look at the positive way that can manifest as well. All right, Cancer rising. 4th house, home and family. So this new moon was in your 10th house of career on April 1st. How do you be yourself in the outer world? How are you achieving? And are you bringing your true self into that achievement, into career plans, into legacy issues? So the full moon in Libra is, what is your relationship with your home and family? I think that's a good way of looking at it, as well as how do you express yourself, that energy of achievement and career at home? I mean, like, do you have a corner of your house that you can go work in? Like, is that what you need? With your family, what is your relationship like? Are they allowing you to have the time you need to achieve at work? Maybe you feel stuck there. Pluto is in your 7th house of relationships, friendships. And so there is some empowerment that you're having to deal with there. Now, maybe it is that you realize you are so secure in your home and family life, and you can tell people outside of that home and family that you won't take something any longer that's disempowering. You know, a friend, a coworker, a business partner. That's a relationship. That's 7th house topic. So you're empowering yourself in relationships through this full moon in Libra in your 4th house of home and family. Yeah, I'm like getting the feeling that, you know, clean up your office, make your home space comfortable and nurturing. It's also a little bit of self-care. So you may need to separate yourself from people during this time. It's very internal. Okay. Like, yeah, you may want to achieve, but first self-care, first your relationship with your own emotional security. Okay. So Jupiter, Neptune, and the North Node in Taurus are sextile from your 9th house to your 11th house. That's your truth and your future goals. Well, your home and family are a key to that. You know, you may want to achieve these great goals. You may want to get back out there, but how you take care of yourself at home, how you take care of your family, and how your family takes care of you is the key to that. Are you taking care of yourself, Cancer rising? It's very important. Okay. Leo rising. This new moon was in your 9th house of belief, truth, higher education. You may want to learn more. May want to travel more. You may want to figure out who you are. You know, put yourself out there. Maybe you want to teach people. But it's definitely accepting your own beliefs and trusting yourself. And the full moon in Libra is in your 3rd house of communication, decision making, local community. And so you're expressing your truth and belief through communication to others, through the way you make decisions. Now, Pluto is in your 6th house of routine and health. And it is saying, are you empowered here? So you may have to make decisions to change your routine. You may have to make decisions, and you need to pay more attention to your health and daily life. So this is really trust yourself during this time, Leo rising. That is the main thing. Now, Jupiter and Neptune are in your 8th house of shared resources, and the North Node is in your 10th house of career. So if you are looking to maybe get a grant, or you have big dreams about getting married, merging with people, signing a contract with someone, that's 8th house topics, inheritance, and career success, which is where the North Node is. Remember, you have to speak your truth to people. And you have to do that in a way that allows you to feel healthy, 6th house, to have a routine that fits with you. You know, some people's routine that fits with them is not a routine, right? So with Capricorn on the 6th, though, Leo, I'm assuming that there is some structure you need daily. And that's going to be important to bringing, if you're having these career desires to expand career, public reputation, awards, communicating your truth to people and your boundaries to people is very important. Okay. Virgo rising. So the new moon in Aries was in your 8th house of shared resources, how you share yourself with others. Do you have someone in your life that is taking care of you, or are you taking care of others? How do you get what you need and what you want out of that situation? Now, the full moon in Libra is in your 2nd house of assets, finances. And so you're looking at your relationships through that lens. Like, how is this either giving back to me? How is this commitment to someone giving back to me? Raising my stock. I really love that phrase. How is it bringing my self-worth to a greater degree? Now, Pluto's in your 5th house of inner child, children, joy, creativity. And there, if anything's, and romance as well, if anything's out of balance there, you're feeling disempowered there, you're asked to look at your own self-worth. What am I worth? Am I worth making time to be creative, making time for my joy? Am I paying attention to what my inner child wants? So your relationship to your values is very important right now. And are you looking at it through a lens of, am I in my highest joy? Am I letting my inner child speak for what I spend my money on, for how I save money, for my self-worth? Jupiter and Neptune, they're in your 7th house of relationships. And the North Node's in your 9th house of philosophy and truth and higher education and travel. So if you've got anything going on in that area, and if you have any dreams in your 7th house relationship area, you have to look at your assets and your finances and your values and your self-worth as a key to perhaps traveling, to perhaps understanding your own philosophy and your own truth and your own values. Okay. See, I told you this full moon is complicated, everybody. Libra rising. Wow, this is about your identity. At the new moon, you were questioning, how do I express myself in relationships? How can I be myself in relationships? For Libra rising, this is a constant thing. I mean, you have Aries on the 7th house. Do I need to be independent? Do I need to be with someone? Am I with someone who exerts control? Am I with someone who cares? Is my relationship passionate? Those are all new moon questions for you. Am I authentic in my relationships? Are they aligned with who I am as a person, et cetera, et cetera? The full moon is in your 1st house of identity. Now it's time to test that theory out. Can I be myself in relationship? What is my identity? Who am I? That is what is being illuminated for you, especially in terms of other people or situations where you are around other people, et cetera. How you balance these two things, your relationships and your identity, and how much you let others inform your identity. These are all questions to ask yourself. Now, Pluto is in your 4th house. So you are experiencing maybe disempowerment or empowering, a question of how do I empower myself in your 4th house of home and family. So it could be that you've got home and family structure that is saying, hey, be yourself. And this is a chance to empower yourself because you are so emotionally secure and you've got all the empowerment you need there. Now, the other thing is you could feel emotionally insecure. And this Libra full moon is asking you, how do you change that? How do you put yourself out there? You got to trust yourself. You got to be emotionally secure. That is really what the 4th house is. And it may be that you need to make sure your home is reflective of your identity as well. So if you live in a place that is out of alignment with who you are as a person, or you have roommates that, are not good for you, I could see this being a situation for Libra rising, then it's time to change your home. And it could be if you are, like, for instance, married and have a family, that you need to carve out a space in your home if you're a Libra rising, something like that. Now, 6th and 8th house is where Jupiter, Neptune, and North Node Taurus are for you. And this is my daily routine and my health, and then how I share myself with others, my boundaries, my empowerment. And then your identity and how you show that to people is the key. So if you are looking to invest, 8th house topics, if you're looking to merge with someone, have a business partnership with someone, sign a contract, whatever the case may be for your 8th house, and maybe have a greater routine, a higher minded routine, a more spiritual routine, maybe work at a place that is more in spiritual alignment with yourself, then you have to really show up as who you are around other people. Okay. Scorpio rising. I gotta go back like 12 hours so that we can still show the moon in Libra, because by this time the moon has changed into, there we go. We'll just do it this way. All right, Scorpio rising. This full moon is in your 12th house of subconscious spirituality, dreams, intuition. It is very much the place where you wake up and you see that your phone's downloaded new programming, but like for your brain and your mind. That's where this full moon's at for you. The new moon was in your 6th house of daily life, routine, health. So you may have made some new commitments to accept yourself in that area of your life, or to be yourself in that area of your life. The full moon in Libra is now let go, surrender. That's what it is. Let it happen. That's what the full moon in Libra is saying. And also, are you able to show up with other people and show them your true self, especially your spiritual self? And are there any people in your life that are affecting you on a spiritual level? That's what this is asking. Now, Pluto is in your 3rd house of communication and everyday life and decision making. So are you empowered in the way you think, your thought process? Do you trust yourself? So you may have to, like, if someone is constantly questioning you in your life, that's going to wear on you, Scorpio risings. If someone is constantly projecting onto you, and you can't really communicate who you are because you're so used to people projecting on you, that's going to wear on you spiritually. So you have to really speak up for who you are, speak your truth. And it may be difficult. I mean, that's a tense kind of thing, but it's important, I think, for your health and your sanity. Let's put it that way. Now, the other thing is Jupiter, Neptune in your 5th house of children. That's where you're dreaming right now, where you're seeking spiritual alignment and joy and fun. And then the North Node in your area of relationships is looking directly at this full moon and saying, you must be in spiritual alignment with the people around you. How are they affecting you on a subconscious level? If you want your relationships to be awesome, you need to get right with your spirit. And you need to make sure others see you as that aligned person that you desire to be. You may have some sort of like intuitive aha moment around this full moon. All right, for Sagittarius rising, this full moon is in your 11th house. So the new moon was in your 5th house of joy, children, creativity, fun, romance. And you were deciding how to be yourself, how to be in your joy, how to accept yourself, maybe in your romantic partnerships, maybe in your inner child. There's a lot of inner child work this moon phase. The full moon in Libra is now tell it to everybody. Go tell it on the mountain. Because the 11th house is plans for the future. It's networking. It's people, like large groups of people. So you're bringing your creativity, your self-acceptance of you as a creative individual out and telling people about it, showing it to people. So this could have a lot to do also with like goals for the future and like networking with a bunch of people and trusting yourself to say, I accept my creativity enough to share it. That's what it is. Now, Pluto is in your 2nd house of self-worth and finances. So, and assets and values, you're empowering yourself there. You have been. There may be some way that you need to empower yourself even more. If you have this great goal or this great plan for the future, for your relationships or how you network, make sure you are charging enough money in this endeavor. Make sure you're being paid for the time you spend, and make sure whatever is going on is not affecting your self-worth. You have to empower yourself here. Jupiter, Neptune in your fourth house of home and family is where it's been dreamy, maybe a little foggy. And North Node and Taurus in your sixth house of health, daily life, routine, and work. Those are sextiling each other. And there's an opportunity here. Home and routine. Those things may be going well for you. So the full moon in Libra, which is goals for the future, says, these goals for the future, these plans, and how you fit in and show yourself off to large groups of people are the key to this sixth house area of everyday life and routine and ritual and health. It's the key to your health. So make sure your goals are in alignment with people in your life. Make sure you are, if you have goals with other people, that I'm thinking really hard about this specific rising sign, because I work with a few Sag rising clients and relationships have been a big deal for them lately. And I feel like relationships, what is your goal for the relationships around you, and how do people fit into your goals? I see a lot of people stepping in and helping Sag risings right now with their plans, with their goals for the future. And I think that's really great. Just make sure your assets and your self-worth are taken care of. Okay. All right. Capricorn rising. The new moon was in your fourth house of home and family and emotional security. Are you getting your desires met there? Are you able to accept yourself? When you're sitting on the couch at home around your family, are you able to be who you want to be and accept yourself there? There may be a different way you want to relate to home and family. It could be that you're planning on moving or changing something in your home. The full moon is in your 10th house of career and legacy, and public reputation is the other 10th house words I want to use. So your relationship with your job and the people at work, that's how you're expressing this need for emotional security, and to be yourself with your home and family. You're expressing it in your career. I can leave my home and family and feel great when I'm at work. Or do you leave your home and family and still think about the fight you had last night? Or do you leave your home and family and go to work and you think, yeah, I just really wish I didn't live in that house anymore? Or do you think, once I change houses, I'm going to quit this job? Those could all be possibilities. Okay. So something about your home and family life is affecting how you see career and how you relate to public reputation, legacy, what I'm doing at work. Okay. And it could be people at work as well. Now, Pluto is in your first house of identity and self. So you're really empowering yourself to be yourself right now, everywhere. This is on your angles. Okay. So first house, fourth house, 10th house, those are very fundamental places in our lives. So this could be greater need for independence and to go my own way. And you may think, if I'm going to do that, then my job's got to change. My relationship with work has to change. Now, Neptune and Jupiter in your third house of communication, and the North Node is in your fifth house of children and inner child and creativity. And so there is a key here. Your career and your relationship with it and the people that you work with, et cetera, are the key to joy, are the key to my inner child being happy, are the key to my mind being okay, my decision-making process being okay and working. So if you are miserable at work, this full moon is going to say, I don't know, you may need to do something about that. And if you are miserable at home and it's because of work or vice versa, these issues are going to come out heavy for Capricorn risings. And Pluto in your first house is really pushing you to be yourself and to be independent and authentic and say, nope, the buck stops here. I'm doing it my way. All right. Aquarius rising. This full moon is in your 9th house of belief, truth, higher education, and travel. So the new moon was in your 3rd house of how you think, how you communicate, really speaking your truth, speaking in an authentic way, making decisions based on your own desires, your own self-acceptance. And now the full moon in the 9th house is how do you express that either through teaching or through learning more, maybe going back to school, your relationship with truth. You know, maybe others have colored how you believe. And this is an encouragement to say, no, you need to believe according to your own intuition. So this could have, you know, philosophical connotations with it. Now, Pluto is in your 12th house of spirituality and subconscious. And I would say Pluto there is pretty abstract. You can't really do anything with Pluto in the 12th house because it happens anyway. Like, you know, there are places that you can actually like do something with it and actually do something to go along with the theme of whatever house and whatever sign. Pluto in your 12th house is you're being empowered subconsciously in some way. That means if you have a problem with maybe other people's beliefs or people that you associate with, and you are not in alignment with your truth with them, you're going to get some spiritual messages about that. So the people in your life need to be true with this full moon in Libra, and you need to be aware of others' philosophies that are around you and whether you are in spiritual alignment with that. You will get a message if you need to cut it off, okay? Now, the other thing is the North Node's in your 4th house of home and family, and Jupiter and Neptune are in your 2nd house of finances and self-worth. And the key to both of those is being in your truth around others, period. Knowing who you are, not letting others color what you do, what you say, who you are, your beliefs. It is maybe that you need to expand your horizons and get to know more people in the 9th house. So many, the 9th house I call the choose your own adventure place. And so this full moon is expressing itself through so many different avenues for Aquarius rising. I do love that Saturn's in your 1st house and you're really working on who you are. And you're probably getting very clear on your belief in yourself around this time. You know, don't look to others for inspiration. This is really, it's got to come from you. It's got to come from your thought processes, your brain, your truth, your authenticity. If you're doing something out in the world, you know, that is following other people, it's probably not going to work. This is about doing it for yourself. This is about showing what you believe and speaking your truth to other people, period. Aquarius rising. All right, Pisces rising. This full moon's in your 8th house of contracts, shared resources, other people's money, inheritance, so many different things. The new moon was in your 2nd house of finances. So that's where you were planting seeds and really accepting yourself, self-worth, maybe going your own way with your money, figuring out how to do your assets, deciding I'm really committing to doing it this way. Now, the full moon is like, okay, how can others give to me? I know that sounds like, it probably sounds bad the way I just said it, but it's not. This is like, how are others a key to my financial success? Am I telling others what I'm worth? If I'm signing a business contract with someone, is it paying me what it's worth? Now, Pluto's in your 11th house of goals and friend groups and networking, and that's where you're empowering yourself, okay? And so if there is, let's just say, an agreement you have with someone, that's really what the 8th house is. It's agreements with others. And your goals are not in alignment with that agreement, you're going to probably have to, you know, break the contract or say, I don't want to do this anymore. or stand firm and tell them you won't go forward until you get what you're worth. I mean, that's really what this is about, so that you can achieve the goals that you're hoping to achieve. Yeah, this is about how you share yourself, for sure. Now, the North Node's in your third house of decision making and thought processes and communicating your truth. And Jupiter and Neptune are in your first house of identity. You could be really confused about who you are right now. How do I put myself out there? Now, Jupiter's past Neptune, thank goodness. And I think that's going to get more clear. Maybe people haven't seen you. And that's what you really want to happen. You need Pluto in your 11th to come through. I need to be seen. I need to achieve my goals. The key to being able to speak your truth and make decisions that are in alignment with your values and highest sense of self-worth are the agreements you have with people, is the way you share yourself with people. Do you, this may be a question of independently making money versus counting on someone else for money, something like that. I would say just to make sure you are getting a fair deal during this full moon. Okay, then. So let me go through the rest of the couple weeks, and I will tell you what is going on past this full moon. Okay, so full moon today, April 16th. Here we go. The moon moves into Scorpio pretty quickly. It's void of course right now. It's funny, they say you shouldn't attempt to do anything during a void of course moon, and look at me recording a video. I will say I have noticed that some void of course moons can be quite frustrating. So anyway, the moon's void of course for a minute, and it moves into Scorpio this evening for central US. Now, the moment the moon moves into Scorpio, it's going to be a very different energy, because Scorpio is Mars ruled, and you take action on what's been going on. Now, the moon is still pretty full, and I want you guys to like connect with that. So here's the sun at 27 degrees. It's not even a full 10 degrees, past being full yet. So it's like a full moon in Libra, but it's a little bit Scorpio too. And this is about empowering ourselves. It's co-ruled, modern planet ruler of Scorpio is Pluto. The traditional planet ruler of Scorpio is, did I say Scorpio? Pluto? My brain is not working, I'm telling you guys. Mars is the traditional ruler of Scorpio, and Pluto is the modern ruler. So they both are coloring this Scorpio moon transit, and Mars is in Pisces right now. So that's something that I haven't gone over yet. Mars in Pisces, there's a lot of question marks about it. Mars is willpower. It's how we take action. Pisces is boundlessness. It's lack of clarity. It's whatever, man. That's Pisces. So the whole time Mars is in Pisces, I think maybe moon and Scorpio transits won't be as difficult as they have been, because Mars is in Aquarius, the last moon in Scorpio, and that's a square to Scorpio. So now that Mars is in Pisces, I think the moon in Scorpio, while yes, still not exactly easy, because we have to dig deep, we investigate, we go into our inner world with the moon in Scorpio, will be a little more, have some spiritual messages to it. Now, the other thing about Sunday is Mercury is hitting Uranus. Let me do Aries rising chart first so we can see the planets moving. Aries rising. That way the rising sign won't change so much, and I can keep drawing on the same spot. I don't want to confuse anybody. Okay, so I was just talking about Mars and Pisces. Here we are. Here's the moon in Scorpio. We got Sunday, April 17th on the chart. Now, at about, it looks like early evening, dinner time, something very important happens. And that is Mercury and Uranus come together with the moon opposing it, sextile to Venus in Pisces. Okay, this is something to unpack all in itself. This day should be an aha moment. Okay. Mercury hitting Uranus is our minds, hitting the planet of upheaval, unexpected events, revolution, liberation, freedom. You can imagine when your minds hit something like that, that you have an all of a sudden like inspiration or strike of this is the thing. Now in Taurus, this is our values, right? So we may realize that our values are shifting. Now Venus is also values and money. And Venus is in Pisces right now. Venus is exalted in Pisces, which means it's in a very good place, okay? Venus is love, money, and in Pisces, it's like, oh, I love everything. I have the most compassionate heart. I'm inspired. What I value is has to be aligned with my spirit. So these things, there's an opportunity to bring your dreams into reality during this moment. So pay attention to opportunities, pay attention to synchronicities, unexpected events. Also, if you feel like your values are shifting, well, that's exactly what's going on. So I expect, on a global scale, there could be something that happens with supply chain. We're already seeing that with Uranus and Taurus anyway. I would just, watch this moment for things out of the blue, including our own feelings. Okay. Now, that I think really, that takes care of Sunday. So what's going on Monday, the 18th? Moon's at the last degrees of Scorpio. It's hitting the nodes, and I would pay attention because we have a coming eclipse, and the nodes are eclipse points. Now, the south node is what we're leaving behind. It's known as the tail of the dragon. And, when the moon hits that, we may have a brief moment of, I need to let go here, okay? Scorpio does deal with control. It deals with emotions that don't move inside of us. I mean, it's fixed water. So, you may have a moment of feeling disempowered and realizing that you need to let go of something, especially after this full moon in Libra. Okay, Mercury is past Uranus in Taurus, and Jupiter is past Neptune. Mars is in Pisces. And as we move into the moon in Sagittarius, which happens, I believe, overnight, it squares all of the Pisces stuff. So as we wake up, thank goodness, at least Central Time, thank goodness the moon is past its square to Mars as we get to sleep. Let me look at this really quick. When does it exactly square Mars? 2:47 a.m. Central Time. So let me say this. Moon square Mars is always like, it can be emotional inflammation. That's a good way to put it. Like you may have a moment where you're feeling triggered or something like that. It happening overnight, that could be sleeplessness. Okay. So just, thank goodness it's happening overnight. Let's just put it that way. Now, the next thing that's going on is that the moon will trine Chiron on Tuesday. The moon's just in Sagittarius on Monday and Tuesday. And it doesn't really do much Monday. So actually it could be a pretty quiet Monday. I like that. Tuesday is when it starts to actually make aspects. So it will, past the Mars one that we have while we're sleeping. It will trine Chiron. It looks like afternoon Tuesday, April 19th, which is a brief moment of, sensitivity, but a trine is supportive. So a moment of healing. And this comes from the narrative we tell ourselves. Sagittarius is our truth, our belief. So when you're trying Chiron and Aries, it's like, I'm going to maybe speak better about myself or try to have a moment of greater clarity about what Chiron and Aries means to me. Let's see, anything else happening? Not too much. No. Okay. So we'll move on. Actually, no, right after that. So it's nighttime when it happens. The moon squares Venus, which, I think that'll actually be a brief, nice moment. So I hope that dreams come true for you on this Tuesday, the 19th evening. Now, when we wake up on Wednesday morning, the moon is coming into a sextile with Saturn. So I feel like it'll be pretty productive and also maybe an enlightening moment. All of Wednesday seems to be supportive and nice as the moon sextile Saturn. We do have a square with Jupiter and Neptune, though, and that's more toward the evening. And that can be a moment of, I don't know what I believe, a moment of confusion. Now, one other thing that happens Wednesday is the sun moves into Taurus. I almost missed that. Let's see, actually, does it happen overnight? It happens Tuesday night, the sun moves into Taurus. So while we have that sun in Taurus, which Taurus sextiles Pisces, this Pisces stuff becomes a pretty important. It already is. You can see how many things are in Pisces, which can be lack of clarity. It can be inspiration. It can be compassion. It can be spirituality, dreams, mysticism. I mean, all of those things. It's the subconscious. It is the boundlessness. It is out beyond the bounds. Okay. The moon square that, especially from Sagittarius, can kind of work to dissolve our beliefs. Okay. So I would watch your dreams Wednesday night and maybe any synchronicities that happen. Okay. Thursday, April 21st, the moon moves into Capricorn. I love watching the chart and watching how the planets move through the chart. This is nice. Number one, the moon will trine the sun that is now in Taurus, and we can kind of start zeroing in on eclipse season. Okay. The eclipse is April 30th. I'm looking at April 21st, Thursday right now. Moon in Capricorn can be kind of cold, but it's focused on success and it's focused on money. So we feel into those structures on Thursday, April 21st. It also sextiles Mars as we wake up. Really nice to get things done. Also really nice bringing dreams into reality, Pisces to Earth. I really love that. And also it will move on and it will then start applying to a sextile with the rest of the stuff in Pisces and a trine with all the stuff in Taurus. So I think Thursday and Friday are really great for planning, for zeroing in on how you want to build your life, how you want to define your dreams and goals, how you want to climb the mountain of success. Thursday and Friday, 21st and 22nd, are really good. They're really good. And for making your dreams come true, for getting clear on how you want to empower yourself, how you want to build your life. Okay. Now, Saturday, and we're getting closer and closer to Venus conjunct Neptune. I just want to draw your attention to that. It's not yet. It's at 19 degrees. Neptune's at 24 degrees, but it's getting close. Okay. So Saturday, the moon moves into Aquarius. And then our emotions get a little detached. I mean, I think they're a little detached from Capricorn, but our emotions feel into, what we got to get done and how we're going to be successful in Capricorn. When it's in Aquarius, it's a fixed air sign. It's like we're floating above in a balloon, right? So it can be a little detached and a little focused on the big picture. But the main thing that happens with the moon in Aquarius is the moon squares the sun, and that is called the third quarter square of the moon. This is Saturday, April 23rd. It is known as a time of intenseness or intensity. And so I will say it is the last adjustment from the new moon. So when I talked at the beginning of this video of the new moon in Aries, what that was about, then the full moon in Libra, and what that was about, the third quarter square of the moon, a half moon, if you will, is a chance to understand. It's called crisis in consciousness. We have to integrate this in our minds, okay? Understand what it was about. Take the last action that we need to take. So we're looking at the future. We're looking at large groups of people, how societies work together, maybe our place in it, and how we value that with it square to the sun in Taurus. How do our values fit into our goals? And there's inherent push and pull between these things. So you may have waking up that morning, it may be a little grumpy. I'll just put it that way. Mercury on that same day is conjunct the North Node in Taurus, and I would pay attention. Again, this may bring up themes for the eclipse coming for you. and also money, values, self-worth. Your minds are really in tune to how you're developing that right now. Okay. As we move on, the moon, excuse me, will just move through Aquarius. And I think the only other aspect it makes Saturday is the sextile to Chiron, and that's late at night, at least in central US time, which is nice for healing, for tuning into how we want to bring our identities, our authentic self into these larger groups, into the world, into the way society works. Sunday morning, what we got going on is moon in Aquarius. This is April 24th. And it is, I guess, right before we wake up, it's square Uranus. So we may wake up to some news or some feeling that surprises us. I mean, Uranus is unexpected events. It's freedom. It's liberation. So, I would just look at Sunday as a day, something might flip the script as soon as you wake up. And then the moon will hit Saturn and square the nodes at the same time. So this is called moon at the bendings. And I'm looking at 4:47 p.m. April 24th, which is Sunday, Central US time. Moon at the bendings is like, it can be very intense, very hard, but Saturn's there too, which is a lot of work. So we're having to innovate our structures. Saturn's calling us to mastery. The moon hits this wall. And we realize in order to head towards these goals, these new values with the North Node in Taurus, where this eclipse is about to happen, we have to do the work, and we have to actually structure our goals to fit into alignment with our values, or maybe vice versa. So you may realize there's some work to do on this day, especially around evening time. If it's a difficult moment, you'll know why. Sunday, April 24th. But it passes, thank goodness. And then Monday, we wake up with the moon in Pisces. It may be a sleepy morning. This is April 25th. And moon in Pisces is let it all go. Let's just escape. It's also intuition. You may have an intuitive moment that day. So we wake up and the moon is immediately headed towards Mars. So interesting. Y'all have to weigh in on what Monday, April 25th is like for you, because Mars is action that we need to take, but it's like the spiritual warrior in Pisces. And it also may be lack of motivation. It may be, what I want to actually do is sleep, So the moon hitting Mars typically can bring anger out, or maybe like inflammation, like I say. I mean, that's a Mars thing. But in Pisces, that may have something to do with your spirituality. It may have something to do with going too far with something, rose-colored glasses. So watch Monday for this transit. It happens exactly, around, let's just say 6:45 p.m. Central US time, and then it passes it. At the same time, the sun in Taurus, we're grounded by the sun in Taurus, and it's sextile this moon, Mars, and Pisces. So we may realize that we want to take action on our dreams around this time, Monday, April 25th. After it passes, it will be heading toward Venus. And I really like this, okay? So pay attention to your dreams Monday night, going into Tuesday, what you wake up with. As we wake up Tuesday morning, I'm looking at around 10 a.m. The moon's at 16 degrees of Pisces. So if I look at 8:45 a.m., the moon's sextile Uranus there with a moment of, ooh, what was that? That's what I think about moon moments with Uranus. Uranus is, can just bring things out of the blue. When it's the moon, it's emotions a lot of times, like we can be surprised by our emotions. So anyway, April 26th, Tuesday, we've got the moon and Mars already happened, and now the moon's headed toward Venus. And so Tuesday looks like a really sweet and nice day. Not only is the moon going to hit Venus, Venus is it's 1 degree away from Neptune. Now, Venus and Neptune, this is going to be an interesting combination, okay? I would look for things to get weird around this time, like a circus. maybe already doing that as we get closer to eclipse season, as we got all this energy in Pisces. It may be already doing that. But like Tuesday, April 26th, it's like, what is happening? Is this real life? There's two reasons I say that. Pisces rules things that don't even exist. It's the ether. It is the muses. It's inspiration. Okay. Venus is a benefic, and it's love, and it's abundance. And so we may see things happen around this time that we didn't expect. Also because of Uranus here. The sun's heading to Uranus. We're going to have an eclipse there. Mercury on Tuesday, April 26th, moves into shadow. It's going to go retrograde soon, and it will actually revisit the 26th degree of Taurus. And so we have Mercury moving into shadow that day. So these things matter. Pay attention again to synchronicities, to your dreams. Don't go too far off into space. Don't trust everything that's told to you. It's just a good idea with Venus and Neptune conjunct. Now, alternatively, create. Pay attention to the inspiration. Write down what you're thinking. It would be a good idea to journal when Mercury hits shadow. Start journaling, because Mercury is going to go retrograde in Gemini. Mercury is also sextile to Jupiter around this time. So we may have some clarity, some truth, some more inspiration. It's in Pisces. I cannot tell you enough how intuitive, how fertile this Tuesday looks. It's really great. So enjoy your sleep that night. I hope it's good. Moon passes Neptune and Jupiter, and we wake up with the moon at the very late degrees of Pisces void, of course. You may have trouble waking up on Wednesday, April 27th, because Pisces tends to make you want to stay there and dream. Then it moves into Aries, though, and it's time to do stuff. But as you can see, the moon is getting closer to the sun. What does that mean? That means it's going to be a new moon. But as you can see, the sun is getting closer to the north node, and that's where eclipses happen. So if you're looking at a chart, this would inform you that we're very close to an eclipse, which is exact on April 30th. So the moon in Aries is actually a quiet moon in Aries. It's a darkening moon in Aries, okay? As it moves through Aries, Wednesday, April 27th, it will not do much. It's not touching much. It's just kind of left to float there. So it may be a weird hump day, right? This also activates Mars in Pisces, and also as we wake up, Venus is conjoining Neptune right at that moment. I'm really excited to see what Venus-Neptune brings. This is the first time in human existence. Oh, no, not human existence. With people who are currently alive. Everyone who's alive right now has never experienced a Jupiter-Neptune conjunction in Pisces. Last time that happened was like 166 years ago. So as we have these things hit Neptune, I think we're figuring out what Neptune means. Keep in mind, Neptune was not discovered until very recently on the grand scale of the time we have history of, okay? Neptune's a fairly recent addition. That means to astrology as well. And so we have these things we think Neptune rules and that we're kind of playing with. The best chance to figure out how Neptune acts in astrology is to follow these transits. So Wednesday, Venus conjunct Neptune, the 27th, with the moon at the late degrees of Pisces hitting Jupiter. Like, gosh, if you have a dream Tuesday night into Wednesday, pay attention. This is important, okay? Also, whatever happens, remember, Neptune has yet to be concretely described, which is actually the nature of Neptune. It's fog, it's unsure, it's dissolution, it dissolves things, right? So, what is being dissolved for you? What inspiration is coming to you? And also, tell me what goes on. I want to know. I need help. I need help understanding Neptune. I understand it a little bit. I've had it really interact with my chart, but these things, I need reports. That's all I'm saying. So if you have something go on Tuesday, Wednesday, please leave a comment. I would love to know. The moon moves into Aries Wednesday, and it's just floating, and it is a spacey day, very spacey. Now, Thursday morning, the moon is hitting Chiron. So this brings up the theme of the last new moon, April 1st. So April 28th, think back to April 1st and beyond. Think back over that whole phase. I find when the moon hits the new moon degree, as it's coming back around, the things become pretty clear, and we understand what it was about, and we can look back and go, oh, okay, that makes sense. So this is a day of healing, Thursday, April 28th, a day that we really are allowed to be ourselves, etc. So yeah, that could be a sensitive moment. It's just afternoon Central US time. And then as we go through into April 29th, Friday, the moon will sextile Saturn early in the morning, which is really nice, a nice time to get things done. But don't forget, it's a dark moon. Things are getting quiet. Okay. But I'm going to stop here because what we have after that is Friday, the 29th, Mercury moves into Gemini. Big change. Mercury rules Gemini. Our minds get really busy, but don't forget, it's going to go retrograde. Okay. It's going to go retrograde right in the middle of the eclipses. So Mercury's in Gemini. Our minds get busy, but you're going to revisit this area. Venus is past Neptune, and Venus will be conjoining Jupiter at the time of the solar eclipse, but it's pretty close right here on Friday. And I would say that is a very good thing, like good thing. Okay. But there you go. April 29th at 7:47 p.m. the moon moves into Taurus, and then it's eclipse. And I'm coming back to talk to you guys more about that. So I'll be back either on April 28th or maybe before, because I will be going out of town for a conference. iAstrologer, the organization for professional astrology, is having a conference in Tucson, Arizona, and I will be there to learn more so that I can share with you guys and hopefully, figure some things out for my own business. And so I'll be out of town starting the 28th, right around an eclipse. And I might be coming back before that date. So it could be earlier. But I have a feeling you guys might want to know about the eclipse earlier. So maybe I'll be back even before April 28th. We'll see. Thank you guys so much. I've been informed people actually watch these videos. So if you have any suggestions or wishes for the way I do it, I am all ears. I would love to serve you guys the best I can. I'm here to be a conduit and to help you understand astrology and to tell you about how these days are going to go, and maybe things you can do, or maybe reasons to not worry or reasons to do something, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm always open to what you think about the way I do these videos, and I want to make everyone happy. And thank you so much for watching. It means a lot. So sharing it, liking it, subscribing always helps. I think you know the drill. And I will see you on the flip side. Happy full moon in Libra.